Lovely. Again, so good to be back. Oh, thank you. I haven't seen some of you in a while. Oh, my goodness. Well, I get to share a little bit about my adventures today. But I want to begin by kind of acknowledging that, in unity and in most progressive spirituality, we talk about God being within us, right? God is within us. We don't believe this idea that there's a separate being apart from us out there somewhere, some supernatural father figure in heaven watching down on us. That's not something we believe anymore. We don't believe that. But we open to this idea that God is the divine life essence, that universal source and substance, the cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, the infinite organizing power, the Tao, the whatever it is that you want to call it, that is, yes, all everywhere in the universe, expressing as everything and expressing as each one of us in every moment and experiencing life as us. Right? And so, yeah, that's what we're embodying. That's what we're embracing. And yet, sometimes that's such a huge idea. It's sometimes very difficult to wrap our brain around that, right? It seems so huge. So I think that sometimes when we're thinking about God, we kind of maybe unconsciously reduce it down to this idea of kind of envisioning that this light, that maybe there's a thin strand of light at the center of our being, right? Or maybe unconsciously we're thinking of it as a blueberry in a muffin. A little blueberry buried somewhere in a big muffin. God is somewhere inside of us. I think sometimes we're thinking about that. Of course, God is the fullness of who we are in every part and parcel of our being, every aspect of our being, moving and expressing as us wherever we go, whatever we do. But again, big idea. Not only sometimes difficult to grok, but also sometimes difficult to live. Maybe more so, difficult to live. So if you're anything like me, it's like, well, here I am on Sunday morning. I get this. I'm nurturing my spirit. I really sense that universal presence, that fullness of the divine. I really feel it. I see it. I sense it. I hear it in the beautiful music and the meditation, and I see it within everyone, and I know that divine presence is everywhere. I get that. But yesterday, when I was mad at my kids, mad at my spouse, when somebody cut me off, when I'm at the grocery store and it's crowded and I'm trying to get, after a long day, trying to get everything and get it together and make a dinner and put it on the table for midnight, when the homeowners association is doing absolutely nothing for the overgrowth of algae that's in our lake, then I don't always know I'm God expressing. It's more like the blueberry and the muffin scenario. But of course, even still, even when I'm not aware of it, right? It's there. It's in all of us, 24/7. No matter where we go, no matter what we do, it can't be separate from us, right? It can't be separate. We can be asleep to it. We can cover up the light that we are, and boy, some people do a really good job of covering up the light, don't they? It's like a blanket. I'm going to put a blanket over and just, I'm not going to let any of that light come out, There it is. But the light is there. Always, the light is there. And the more often that we know it and we can sense it and we embrace it, more often throughout our day, throughout our life, the more of a opening, the more in alignment we are with the flow of love, the flow of joy, the flow of harmony, the flow of abundance. That's why we practice, right? That is why we have spiritual practice, to help us stay awake. So that was the idea. I set an intention before I went on my trip to Europe. I set an intention that I want to take that consciousness with me. You know, I want to be aware, to remain aware where I'm going, even though I don't have this. You know, I didn't want this like separated. Here's my life as a minister. And, you know, I'm helping people to stay awake to who they are. It's what my life is. I'm surrounded in this beautiful community, you know, being supported in my spiritual truth. And then this is my life over here, traveling, playing, having fun. Not that there's anything wrong with traveling and playing and having fun, right? In fact, I want more of that in my spiritual life and more of my spiritual life in the playing and, you know, I want more integration. So, how'd I do? Well, let me just say that being in spiritual community is really important in our effort to stay awake to who we truly are. It's really important. I mean, being surrounded by people who know that that divine presence is who they are. People who honestly connect in their hearts with others. People who are actively participating in their journey toward wholeness, that just makes it easier. It just is a beautiful way to stay awake, right? Being in a land, in a place where there didn't seem to me to be a whole lot of that consciousness of divine oneness, of the awareness of oneness, of the awareness of, you know, our consciousness influences our experience. Not that they're not wonderful people, of course, they are. But I think it's like, it was my experience, and I had to say just my experience and where I was, there seemed to be, I think it's the historical thing, right? It's the historically Catholic, you know, Europeans historically. I mean, how many grand, ornate, you know, stained glass window churches do there have to be in one place? A lot, apparently, and they're beautiful. You know, so it's either traditional Catholic, traditional Jewish, you know, traditional, or just atheists. You know, it doesn't seem to be that there's a lot of understanding that there's an alternative, that there's just not, you know, this awareness that this universal spirituality that's centered in this truth that we're divine, this divine oneness, right? It didn't seem to me. With one notable exception, which I'm going to talk about next week. So you got to come back for that. But, you know, New Thought, okay? New Thought is, it is absolutely American. It is an American thing. You know, America is a country, young country that was founded by people seeking freedom to have an experience, their own spiritual experience that was different. So this was a place where new ideas could take root and grow. This is where New Thought grew. And it was formulated by some pretty important thinkers in our country, the Transcendentalists, and then formulated more by others after that. So that New Thought is not only do people don't know what New Thought is here in America, we need to do a better job of spreading the idea, but really I don't think it's known at all in Europe yet, right? So it is absolutely American. So for the most part, I was on my own with this, right? And so but I have my meditation, right? God, have meditation will travel. You can take that anywhere at any time. I had my books and my podcasts on my tablet and my insight timer affirmations on my phone. And, so support. That along with my intention, I think helped keep me a person who, admittedly can get frustrated when things don't always go the way I like them to, maybe impatient. It helped to keep me relaxed, going with the flow, and centered, I think more. So, yeah. Now, I'm guessing most of you have heard of the book Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, or you saw the movie starring Julia Roberts. Yeah, Julia Roberts. So it's a true story, right? She has a painful divorce and she wants to find herself. So she's traveling these different places and she has these experiences that were kind of related to the places. So she went to Italy. That was the eat chapter. And then she went to India. That was the pray chapter. And then I think it was Bali. It was Bali with the love thing, right? And so I was thinking about my trip, and I thought, well, obviously not the same reason, but I had a similar eat, pray, love. And so that's what I am calling this today and next week, my eat, pray, love. And I'm adding one quality, which is be. So it's eat, pray, love, be. And so let's start with eat. Because that's often the question. The first question people are, how was the food? And, well, I have to say, because we are basically vegetarian, we didn't really get to sample a lot of the regional cuisine. So no schnitzel and noodles for us. Even though we were in the land of Sound of Music. Schnitzel with noodle, remember that? We didn't get that. We had to sort of search out the odd vegetarian or, other kinds of food restaurants. But the meals that were really amazing were the breakfasts. And I am not a breakfast person. But, boy, I am transformed now. The restaurants, the hotels, they serve a breakfast, and it is not like anything that American hotels have. It is a huge room filled with all of these amazing things. Just trays and trays of beautiful cheeses and meats, if you want that, and bowls of fruit, and all kinds of yogurty things that I never even heard. Quark, I'd never heard of. All these interesting things. And in every place, they had this tray, this metal tray that was kind of at an angle, and on it was an actual honeycomb. You see? And then it's angled down at the bottom so that the honey runs down into the bowl. It's like, oh my God. And the bread, all of these different varieties of bread, the German bread, oh my God, with all those crunchy little things in it. And you can slice it yourself, so you could take a big hunk. It was amazing. And then what was that thing called? They said it was served in breakfast at Tiffany's. What was it called? Eggs in a cloud or egg cloud. It was like an egg cloud. Ever heard of that? It was just, wow. Okay, so, if you had 2 or 3 stomachs, you could fuel up for the day, which is a good thing because the moment we finished, we put on our sneakers and went walking, basically all day. And I want to just also mention, we stayed with some friends in a little village right outside of Interlaken. And they have this Swiss chalet at the base of the Alps. It's just these rolling hills, and the cattle are grazing on these rolling hills, and the sound, You like times 20, like at a distance, you hear this beautiful, beautiful sound. I mean, it's just, it's heavenly. And so our host served cheese, and local cheese, and she said, oh, it's from the cows that are right there on the hill. And she served honey that the bees visited her flowers in her garden. So it's like, how, you can't get any more local than that. It was fabulous. And then just one thing before, are you like getting hungry? Oh, just wait. Okay, so the pastries, right? Oh my God. They're all like artfully crafted. Every single one is just beautifully crafted. Dana will show you a picture of the one he loved. It's got little perfect red hearts, 3 lines of perfect red hearts on the outside of it. I mean, it's just like an artisan created this thing. And people would, they take their time and they sit down and they have a cappuccino and they have the pastry and they have a conversation. It just, so when in Rome, we ate a lot of pastries. Didn't really gain much weight because, did I mention, we walked all over the place, right? So the interesting thing about the culture is that there's not, where we were, okay? There was not really a to-go culture. You don't get your coffee to go. There was like no to-go stuff. People didn't grab food and eat it in their car on the way to work. They sit down at a meal and enjoy a conversation. Yeah, it just, it was really beautiful. And because there's no to-go culture, there's no, can I just have a little, thank you, back there. There's no plastic utensils. I didn't see any plastic cups, any plastic utensils, anything that was served was compostable, or bamboo, or something, or a compostable cup. The first plastic cup I saw was when we got to our 4th city, and it was a Starbucks. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Starbucks. They're changing their culture. People were like getting to-go coffee in a plastic cup. So I mean, it's possible. And also the water, there's no plastic, well, there are, but most places serve the water to go in glass. Glass, which, yeah, it's breakable. Yeah, it probably costs more to ship this, but I guess they figure it's worth the sacrifice to save the earth, right? So next week, I want to talk about how we can all get together and begin to put pressure on takeout places to change to compostable. It's so easy they can do it. They just need pressure. And put pressure on, there's a group of people that I really want to align with to work together and really put pressure on companies to stop it with the plastic and switch to compostable. It can be done. We just need, I saw it. We need to actually speak up, and they need to know that people want this change, right? So next week we'll talk about how we can do that. But yeah, okay, good. And so this week, though, I have a little assignment for you, if you so choose to accept it. And so the idea is to know more often that we are the presence of the divine in expressing. Wherever we are, whatever we do, more often, even when it's difficult, right? So what I thought this week is that we'll practice with something easy. We can practice with something easy, and we get that down, and then we can graduate to more challenging life experiences. So I thought we would practice conscious eating this week. Good. Conscious eating. So commit this week to really sitting down with your food, being conscious, being, just really giving your time, understanding you're nourishing your body. You might want to be in gratitude. We can think about, I'm so grateful for the plants. I'm so grateful for the earth that gave rise to the plants. If you're eating animals, grateful for the animals. And really feel like the food is divine essence that is nourishing my body. So if you can avoid kind of grabbing and going, I know sometimes, for me it's really difficult. But I want to make a commitment this week to just really being conscious and enjoying and sitting down. And if you're having a meal with someone, this is not the time to complain, to be negative, to bring up difficult topics. You want to stay in gratitude during this time. So there is a beautiful prayer that the Self-Realization Fellowship folks say before they have a meal. And I dated a guy for a couple years who was in SRF, and he taught me this prayer, and we would say it before a meal. And it was so beautiful, and I want to bring it back. So here it is. And yes, I put it on, because I had a feeling people would say, oh, I want that. So I put it on a handout that is in your program, if you want to look at this together. And I took the liberty of changing the first two words, which they had Heavenly Father, but we're practicing this, understanding divine essence. So it is divine source, receive this food, make it holy. Yeah, you can say it with me. Let no impurity of greed defile it. The food comes from thee. It is to build thy temple. Spiritualize it. Spirit to spirit goes. We are the petals of thy manifestation, but thou art the flower, its life, beauty, and loveliness. Permeate our souls with the fragrance of thy presence. Isn't that beautiful? If anybody missed getting a program, the greeters are here to put that in your hand. We have Pat down here. Pat down here. Barnsley on the side. Yeah, so we're practicing. This should be something pretty easy, pretty doable. What we're practicing is bringing our consciousness to what we're doing. If we can be conscious of eating, when we're eating, we can be conscious of spirit while we're driving, while we're at work, while we're having a difficult conversation with somebody, when somebody rear ends us, somebody cuts us off on the freeway. We practice one step at a time, and we grow in our consciousness to allow that flow, to really align ourselves with the flow of the divine spirit through, in, and as us at every moment. Are you willing to do this week? Yes. Yes. All right. There you go. Namaste.
Hi. If this video has inspired you, opened your heart, expanded your consciousness, filled you with hope, empowered you in some way, we encourage you to support what we offer here at Unity Center of Peace by making your donation now. And thank you.